File 1A. Pronunciation B. 1,
Fish. I. Chicken. Squid.
2,
Tree. E. Beef. Peach.
3,
Cat. Crab. Mango.
4,
Car. R. Carton. Jar.
5,
Clock. Chocolate. Sausage.
6,
Saw. Aw. Raw. Salt.
7,
Bull. Cook. Sugar.
8,
Boot. Ooh. Soup. Tuna.
File 1A. Pronunciation D. 1,
Boiled.
2,
Cabbage.
3,
Spicy.
4,
Roasted.
5,
Grapes.
6,
Fruit.
7,
Baked.
8,
Melon.
9.
Zucchini.
File 1A. Listening.
Welcome back to the show. Today, we've been discussing Teresa Gold's article, The Truth About Healthy Eating. And now it's time for you, the listeners, to tell us what you think. The lines are open, so all you have to do is call 1-800-555-5792 and talk to one of our operators. That's 1-800-555-5792. And it looks like we have our first caller. Kevin from Miami. Tell us what you think about the article.
Well, I'd like to say that I don't agree with the article at all. I don't eat many fruits or vegetables, and I'm perfectly healthy. I haven't called in sick to work for years. I can't remember the last time I had to stay in bed. This 5-a-day thing is garbage, isn't it?
Thank you, Kevin. I think we have another caller on line 2. Kate from Chicago. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Well, I'm sure the writer knows what she's talking about, but it isn't that easy. I mean, it's hard enough to get kids to eat vegetables at the best of times, but with all these burger and pizza places around, it's almost impossible. Once they get the taste for junk food, you can forget the 5-a-day, that's for sure.
Thanks, Kate. And who's our next caller?
My name's Derek, and I'm from Washington, D.C.
And what do you think, Derek?
Well, I'd like to say that I think that the article is right. I mean, the writer talks about eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, which is something that we've always done in my family. My mom's a great cook. She always uses completely natural ingredients in her cooking, and we're almost never sick.
Thank you, Derek. Let's go back to line 2 again, where we have Rosie from Boston. Rosie, what's your opinion?
Well, the writer seems to think that all fruits and vegetables are good for you, and I don't think that's true. I mean, what about potatoes? They contain a lot of carbohydrates, which can make you gain weight if you aren't careful. It's even worse if you fry them. And then some fruits, like melon for example, have a lot of sugar. Personally, I think you should eat a little of everything and not too much of one thing.
Thanks, Rosie. And that's all the time we have for today. We'll be speaking to the writer of the article after the break.
File 1B, Pronunciation. 1,
When are you going to book your vacation?
2,
I'm not going to book the flight yet.
3,
I'm going to look online.
4,
Who are you meeting tonight?
5,
I'm meeting some friends.
6,
I'm not meeting my girlfriend.
7,
When will you get your test scores?
8,
I won't get them this week.
9.
I'll get them on Monday.
File 1B, Listening.
I'm exhausted.
Me too. I haven't stopped all day.
Neither have I.
Oh well. I guess it'll get easier when the kids grow up.
Do you think so?
Of course. When they're older, they'll be more independent. We won't have to do everything for them anymore.
And how long will that take? 5, 6 years? Or maybe never?
Look, what's the problem, Terry?
Nothing. It's just that we never have time for each other these days. We're always with the kids.
But that's what happens when you have kids. It'll get better.
I don't know. My parents were talking about us going to live with them. Do you think it would be easier for us if we lived with my parents?
Well, I guess it'd have its advantages.
Yeah. I mean, for one thing, there'd always be someone to take care of the kids.
That sounds good.
And we could go out in the evening without the kids. Just imagine that.
That doesn't really matter to me.
And there would be more people to share the housework, too. It wouldn't always be the same person who does the shopping, cleans the house, and cooks the meals.
Yes, but there would be more people in the house, so there would be more work to do. Shopping and cooking for 6 isn't the same as doing it for 4.
I guess so.
And another disadvantage is that we wouldn't have any privacy.
True.
And you know what your parents are like. They let the kids do everything they want to do.
I guess you don't want to move in with my parents, then.
Not really, no. Would you like to move in with mine?
No, definitely not. Actually, things aren't so bad right now.
I agree.
And the kids will be older soon.
Yes, they will.
That's settled then. We're staying here.
Fine. File 2A. Listening. 1,
Can I live on my salary? Well, I don't really have many problems because I'm still living with my mom and dad. Don't get me wrong, I give my mom some money for rent, but it's definitely much cheaper than living on your own. I actually have a pretty good salary. I'm a graphic designer. I don't really spend much. I buy some new clothes every now and then, and I have to put gas in my car, of course. But apart from that, it's really just going out on the weekends. Most of my money goes into a savings account so that I can buy my own house one day.
2,
I find it really hard to live on my income because I only have a part-time job. Being on my own with my daughter means that my mom has to take care of her when I'm at work. At least I don't have to pay for childcare. The house we live in is rented, so that's where most of the money goes. I don't think I'll ever be able to afford our own place because the bank won't give me a mortgage. Apart from the rent, my money goes to food and clothes for my daughter. Still, I shouldn't complain. I have an amazing daughter, and that's all that really matters.
3,
I think I'm really lucky. I'm pretty healthy for my age. I have enough money to live on, and I have my children and grandchildren. When I say I have enough money, I don't go on any fancy vacations or anything like that, but I'm comfortable. I've paid the mortgage, so that's one less expense, and I don't have any loans to pay either. My one little luxury is going out for lunch a few times a week with some friends. I guess that's where most of my money goes, on food.
4, Can we live on our salaries? Well, I'm not so sure, actually. My husband is a teacher, so he doesn't earn that much. Definitely not enough to raise 2 children. That means I have to work too. I have a full-time job at the local supermarket. And really, that's our biggest problem, because we need someone to take care of the children. Our babysitter costs a fortune. We spend more on childcare than we do on our mortgage. Then there's food and new clothes for the children, too. Honestly, it isn't cheap having kids these days. File 2A, Pronunciation, B. 1.
Up. Money. Nothing. Sold. 1.
2.
Clock. Honest. Shopping. Dollar. Clothes.
3.
Phone. Done. Oh. Go. Loan.
4.
Horse. Afford. Worse. Store. Mortgage.
5.
Bird. Work. World. Short. Worth.
File 2B, Pronunciation. 1.
I've been traveling all day.
2.
How long have they been going out together?
3.
She's been feeling sick since yesterday.
4.
They haven't been living here for long.
5.
We've been cleaning the house all morning.
6.
I haven't been sleeping well lately.
File 2B, Listening.
And now, to end the show with an inspirational story, we have John to tell us about an incredible trip.
Yes, thank you, Nora. Have you ever thought about traveling around the world and trying to help people as you go? Well, that's what an American father and his 2 adopted sons are currently doing. J.D. Lewis is a single parent and a former actor. He's taken his sons Jackson, age 14, and Buck, age 9, out of school for a year to make the trip with him. And their plan is to help people along the way by doing volunteer charity work.
That sounds wonderful, but it must be an expensive trip. How much will it all cost?
It's going to cost them $300,000 in total.
That's a lot of money. How did they afford it?
Well, J.D. Lewis didn't have all the money, so he set up an organization called 12 in 12 to help raise money. And with the help of individuals and some companies, they managed to raise the money.
12 in 12. That's an unusual name. Why did he call it that?
For a very good reason. Not only is their trip going to last 12 months, but their plan is to visit 12 countries. This month, they're in Australia, where they're working with the most important ethnic group in the region, the Aborigines. J.D. and his family are helping to get medical supplies to these people, who often live a long way from the major cities.
And is that the first place they've visited?
Oh no, so far they've visited 7 countries. Their first stop was Russia, where they took care of babies in an orphanage in the city of Tomsk. From there, they traveled to China, where they worked with children with physical disabilities in Beijing. Then they flew to Thailand, where they helped take care of the animals at the Elephant Nature Park.
What a variety of places. Where did they go next?
Their next stop was India, where they worked with children in the poorest district of the city of Hubli. Then they left Asia and flew to Africa. In Rwanda, they taught English to children who had lost their parents in the Civil War. From there, they went to Zanzibar, an island off the coast of Tanzania.
That sounds very exotic. What did they do there?
They helped families prepare an art fair where they could sell things that they had made. Next, they went to Kenya, where they wrote and acted in a play with children who have HIV.
Wow, I bet that was very rewarding. Did they go anywhere else in Africa?
No, that was the end of Africa. From Kenya, they flew to Australia, which is where they are right now.
All that sounds amazing. But their trip isn't over, is it?
No, JD and his family still have 4 places to go: Antarctica, Paraguay, Peru, and Haiti. Not only are they trying to do things to help other people, but they are hoping to learn a lot of new things themselves. And J.D. Lewis hopes that the 12 in 12 organization will encourage other families to do what he has done with his sons.
Well, good luck to J.D. Lewis and his family on the rest of their incredible trip. And that's all we have time for tonight. Join us again tomorrow when we'll be bringing you more real-life stories.
File 3A, Pronunciation. 1. The most relaxing way to travel is by train. 2.
The 7 hours in the airport was the least enjoyable part of the vacation.
3. The most interesting place to visit is the museum. 4.
Flying is a lot more expensive than going by bus.
5. They should have the party at their house. It's much bigger than ours. 6.
Scooters aren't as expensive as motorcycles.
File 3A, Pronunciation, B. 1.
Jazz, dangerous, bridge, rush.
2.
Shower, crash, seat belt, station.
3.
Jazz, check-in, passenger, traffic jam.
4.
Chess, chemistry, catch, departure.
File 3A, Listening. 1.
One morning last winter, I was driving to work late when my cell phone rang. I knew it was my boss, so I answered it. Suddenly, the van in front of me stopped because there was someone crossing the road. I was talking to my boss, so I reacted too late, and my car went into the back of the van. Luckily, I was driving really slowly at the time, so I didn't do much damage to the van, but the front of my car was a real mess. Since then, I never use my phone when I'm driving.
2.
I was driving to Colorado one summer to visit my parents, who live in Denver. It's a long trip, so I had taken my MP3 player with me to connect to the car radio. Surprisingly, there wasn't much traffic on the freeway, so I arrived in Denver pretty quickly. However, I was having such a good time listening to my music that I completely missed the exits for Denver. I didn't realize until I had gone another 20 miles, so I had to turn around and drive all the way back again. It just goes to show what can happen when you aren't concentrating.
3.
We were on vacation last year when we had a little accident. We were going somewhere we'd never been before, so we were following the instructions on my GPS. We heard on the radio that there'd been a big accident on one of the roads we needed to travel on, so I started adjusting my GPS to find a different road to take. I took my eyes off the road, and suddenly we came to a sharp turn in the road. I saw the turn too late, so I went straight ahead and drove into the middle of a field. We were really lucky, though, because no one was hurt.
4.
I don't usually get up early enough to put my makeup on, so I usually put it on in my car. Well, I used to put it on in the car. Now I wait until I get to my office. That's because I had kind of a shock the other week, when I almost didn't stop at a crosswalk. I was looking in the mirror instead of at the road, so I didn't see this little boy run out. To tell you the truth, I hadn't even seen that there was a crosswalk there. I just had time to step on the brakes, and I missed the little boy by about an inch. I was really shocked afterward, though.
5.
I was driving into town to meet my girlfriend for dinner when she sent me a text message. I decided to read it, in case it was important. Anyway, the message said that my girlfriend was already at the restaurant, and I wanted her to know that I was going to be a little late. So when I stopped at a red light, I started to write a reply. But I didn't notice when the traffic light turned green, and the car behind crashed into the back of me. The driver of the car said he thought I was going to start driving, so he moved forward and hit me. Of course, I didn't tell him I was texting.